In the sweltering summer of 2005, two charismatic friends, Jeremy Gray, played by Owen Wilson, and John Beckwith, played by Vince Vaughn, were on a mission to crash their friend's wedding. The plan was to have a good time, drink plenty of champagne, and maybe even score some ladies. Little did they know, this would be the start of an unforgettable adventure that would lead them down a path of self-discovery, growth, and ultimately, love. Jeremy, a successful investment banker, had it all: a high-paying job, a beautiful penthouse apartment, and a reputation as a ladies' man. However, beneath his carefree exterior, he was struggling to find meaning in his life. His relationships were shallow, and he felt like something was missing. John, on the other hand, was a free-spirited artist, always chasing his next creative high. He had a passion for music, art, and women, but his lack of direction and stability made it difficult for him to commit to anything serious. The two friends met at their friend's bachelor party, where they hatched their plan to crash the wedding. As they arrived at the luxurious estate, they were greeted by the sound of laughter, music, and the promise of a wild night ahead. As they mingled with the guests, Jeremy and John couldn't help but notice the beautiful and charming Claire, played by Rachel McAdams, who was engaged to be married that day. Claire was smart, witty, and had a spark in her eyes that neither of them could ignore. The two friends decided to make their move, and as they approached Claire, they found themselves caught up in a whirlwind of conversation, laughter, and chemistry. For the first time in their lives, Jeremy and John felt like they were truly connecting with someone on a deeper level. As the night wore on, Jeremy and Claire danced under the stars, sharing stories and secrets that left them both breathless. Meanwhile, John and Claire's sister, Gloria, played by Isla Fisher, bonded over their shared love of music and art, forming an instant connection. The next few days were a blur of wedding festivities, parties, and one-night stands. Jeremy and Claire grew closer, but their differences began to surface. Claire was engaged, and Jeremy was hesitant to get serious. John, on the other hand, found himself falling for Gloria, but his fear of commitment held him back. As the wedding day approached, Jeremy and Claire's relationship reached a boiling point. They shared a passionate kiss in the garden, and for the first time, they both felt like they were truly seeing each other. However, just as things were starting to heat up, reality set in. Claire realized that she was still engaged, and Jeremy knew he couldn't compete with her commitment. The two friends had to confront their feelings and make a choice: follow their hearts or play it safe. In the end, Jeremy made the ultimate sacrifice. He confessed his love for Claire, but ultimately decided not to pursue a relationship with her. Instead, he chose to support his friend's wedding and let Claire go. Meanwhile, John found himself falling deeper in love with Gloria. They shared a romantic dance at the reception, and as they gazed into each other's eyes, they both knew that they had found their soulmate. As the night drew to a close, Jeremy and John stood together, reflecting on the chaos they had created. They realized that sometimes it takes a little bit of chaos to find true love. The two friends shared a laugh, knowing that their lives would never be the same again. The next morning, as they watched Claire exchange vows with her fiancé, Jeremy turned to John and said, "You know, I think we found what we were looking for in Gloria." John smiled, nodding in agreement. "Yeah, and maybe we even found a little bit of ourselves along the way." As the sun rose over the wedding estate, Jeremy and John walked away from the chaos, ready to face whatever life had in store for them. They knew that they would always have each other's backs, no matter what. And as they disappeared into the crowd, they both knew that they had found something truly special, a love that was worth fighting for. Epilogue. Years later, Jeremy and John sat on their respective couches, looking back on their wild adventure. They laughed about the good times, the bad times, and the moments in between. Gloria and Claire were married, with children of their own. The two friends had found love, but not in the way they expected. Jeremy had met a beautiful woman named Sarah, played by Jenna Fisher, who was everything he never knew he needed. John had found his soulmate in Gloria, who had brought out the best in him. They had both found happiness, but it wasn't the same as what they had experienced that fateful summer. As they looked at each other, Jeremy and John knew that their friendship was the real prize. They had found a love that went beyond romance, a love that was built on trust, loyalty, and a deep understanding of each other's quirks and flaws. And so, as the sun set over their respective homes, Jeremy and John raised a glass to their friendship, to the chaos they had created, and to the love that had found them in the most unexpected way.